Hi everyone, it is Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. The weekend's here. Let's all party. I got some interesting news about the Big 12 Conference today, and it might be something that you've heard already, but I want to cover this and give you my thoughts on what's going on right now with the conference that so many of us love. But first, I need to remind you that you need to subscribe to this YouTube channel, at least interact with this video in some way. Hit the share, hit the like, make a comment. Any of it helps us out. The algorithm is really struggling. I don't know what's going on with it. YouTube's frustrating. But I get to share this with you. So, the Big 12 had explored looking at private equity, venture capital money, to kind of boost that financial oomph that the Big 12 needs. And the reason is that House settlement that never seems to be actually official. I don't know what this judge is doing, but eventually that will be signed and the Big 12 schools will be out about $21 million a year in rev share for student athletes. Stay over there. And that's a big bite for a conference that has a lot of athletic budgets around $100 million. I don't care what you're doing, if it's a business or even your house. Imagine adding 20% to your expenses on an annual basis out of the blue. Where the added money comes from, well, that's the problem. And the Big 12 was looking at this investment to buy about 10% of the conference that would infuse schools with money, but then they were selling part of their soul too. Because when you look at what this money actually does is it steals your future. Eventually, those people with venture capital, those people that want equity in your company want a profit. They don't want to just invest. They're not looking for a tax write-off like a lot of people do with these investments. They're looking for money, and eventually you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to find a way to make a profit and hand it off. So while you might help yourself early with that infusion of capital, you might doom your future. And that was troubling from the very start. Look, these people are only interested in money, and eventually they get to the point where they don't care if they alienate your fan base, your customers, your viewers, or whatever business you're in. They want the cash. Look at Southwest Airlines and what they're doing right now and angering their entire customer base so that these people can get a surge of money. That's what they want. That's what they're in for. That's their business. So that's probably out. Thank goodness. The other idea that has been passed on now by the Big 12 athletic directors and presidents is naming rights. We thought we were close a year ago to the Big 12 becoming the All-State 12, or what I preferred, the Mayhem 12. And then that kind of went away, and now apparently those in charge of the conference that work with Brett Yormark, the commissioner, have decided, no, we don't want the naming rights sold because we feel like the Big 12 is beginning to get a foothold in public recognition, that they're beginning to build their brand as what they are, some underdogs that are fighting for equality. Now, other people poo-poo the Big 12 brand and say it's just a bunch of little schools that don't belong at the power level, which is nonsense, but you can't stop the detractors. The reality is people are beginning to recognize the Big 12 is a damn fun conference that has competitive teams and a very competitive nature to conference games, whether it's basketball, football, or most other sports. The Big 12 has a brand, and now the presidents and ADs are recognizing that we need to save it. Although Mayhem pretty much sums up exactly what the Big 12 has been about and will be about. Causing, overcoming, and all of that has been mayhem. Still, the Big 12 is the Big 12, and not renaming it is probably a good move. So, what's this tell me in the overall view? It tells me the Big 12 is doing better than what even those in charge of the Big 12 thought a year ago. They see light at the end of the tunnel. They see a pathway to paying the House settlement on an annual basis. They see growth in their future, which tells me they're getting feedback from TV partners or potential TV partners that their next deal in the next 5 or 6 years or whatever it adds up to be will end up benefiting this conference greatly. We'll see how it all plays out. But for now, the Big 12 is the Big 12, and they're not letting anyone buy a steak. I'm in on both of those.